You smile. You agree. You go out of your way to make people comfortable. And somewhere, deep down, you expect that to come back to you. You expect people to notice, to appreciate it, to respect you for it. They don't. In fact, the nicer you get, the less they respect you. The more available you are, the more they take you for granted. You become background noise. You become the guy they call when they need something, not the guy they think twice about. And here's the part no one tells you. That's not an accident. That's a pattern. And the Stoics understood it 2,000 years before Instagram made it worse. In the next 7 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact behaviors that command real respect. Not the kind you beg for, not the kind you perform for, the kind that shows up automatically when you stop trying to earn it. This isn't motivation. This is a framework. Let's go. Here's the first mistake almost every man makes. You think respect comes from warmth, from being liked, from being the guy who's always there, always agreeable, always easy to deal with. So you over-explain your decisions. You soften your opinions. You say yes when you mean no. You twist yourself into a shape that makes other people comfortable, and in the process you make yourself invisible. The Stoics had a name for this trap. Epictetus called it confusing what's up to you with what isn't. Your job is not to manage how other people feel about you. Your job is to act with character, with clarity, with self-possession. The moment you start performing for someone else's approval, you've handed them the wheel, and they will drive you into the ground. So here's lesson 1. Stop explaining yourself. When you make a decision, own it. Don't walk people through your reasoning. Don't build a case. Don't soften it so they'll accept it easier. State your position, then stop talking. Think about the most respected person you know, not the loudest, not the most popular. The one who, when they speak, people actually listen. That person doesn't justify themselves constantly. They say what they mean and they move. Over-explanation is insecurity wearing a costume, and people feel it. Cut it. Lesson 2. Silence is your most underused weapon. Someone disrespects you. Someone takes a shot. Someone tries to get a reaction out of you. Most men immediately respond. They defend, they argue, they explain why the other person is wrong. And the second they do that, they lose. Marcus Aurelius wrote something that every man needs to burn into his mind. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your silence after a provocation is not weakness. It's the loudest possible signal that you cannot be moved, that you are not available to be manipulated, that their noise doesn't penetrate your frame. Let them sit in it. The discomfort they feel in that silence, that's them realizing they don't have power over you. That is respect, earned in real time. Lesson 3. Stop chasing. This one cuts deep because we've all done it. Chasing attention, chasing validation, chasing someone who's pulled away and pretending you don't care that they have. Here's the cold truth. Desperation is a scent. People smell it before you even open your mouth, and it repels them. The Stoics didn't talk about playing games or strategy. They talked about self-sufficiency, the idea that your value doesn't depend on external confirmation, that your groundedness comes from inside you, not from how many texts you get back or how many people show up to what you're building. When you stop chasing, genuinely stop, not as a tactic, something shifts. People start chasing you, not because you tricked them, because you became someone worth chasing. Indifference is attractive, not coldness. Indifference, there's a difference. Cold is performing distance. Indifferent means you're genuinely busy becoming someone. Lesson 4. Set a boundary without apology. Most men can't do this. They'll say no, but they'll pad it with 5 reasons why, 2 apologies and an offer to make it up later. That's not a boundary. That's a negotiation you're already losing. I'm not available for that is a complete sentence. Say it like it is. No guilt, no softening, no explanation. Here's why this matters. Every time you soften a boundary, you teach people that your limits are negotiable, and they will test them. Every time. Without fail. Hard limits, clearly communicated, with zero emotional charge, that's what earns instant respect. Not because people like being told no, but because it tells them you know who you are, and that is rare. Lesson 5. Show zero reaction to provocation. Someone's trying to embarrass you in public. Someone takes credit for your work. Someone talks down to you in a meeting in front of other people. Every instinct says, react, push back, defend yourself, don't. Here's what Epictetus understood as a slave. Literally as a man who had no physical freedom, the only domain that could never be taken from him was his response, his judgment, his composure. You want power, real power. Be the calmest person in the room when things go sideways. When someone tries to rattle you and they can't, when they look for a reaction and find nothing, that is when they realize they don't have leverage over you. That is when the dynamic shifts. Emotional control is not suppression. It's not pretending things don't bother you. It's choosing your response instead of having it hijacked by the moment. Your calm is your weapon. Use it. Let's bring this home. Warmth without strength isn't kindness. It's vulnerability that people will eventually exploit, not because they're evil, but because that's what unguarded openness invites. Real respect doesn't come from being liked. It never did. It comes from being controlled, deliberate, unshakable. Stop explaining. Go silent. Stop chasing. Hold your line. Stay calm. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth. He had everything. And every morning he sat down and reminded himself, you don't control what people think of you. You control your response. That's your domain. That's it. If the Emperor of Rome needed that reminder, you do too. Here's what I want you to do tonight, not tomorrow. Tonight. Pick one of these 5 and apply it to one situation in your life this week. Just one. See what changes. Because information without action is just entertainment. And you didn't come here to be entertained. If this hit, subscribe. New Stoic training every day. You don't want to miss what's coming next.